Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of 5 Stars Football TV. My name is Aisha B, and alongside me here
It's Monday Thomas, and we are nowhere near getting tired of telling you the Grassroots story.
Indeed, in today's episode, we are here to tell you the stories, the triumphs of players both former and presently in the 5 Stars Premier League. What a dream, Thomas. From the grassroots to international. Come on.
I mean, everywhere is in high spirits because right here on this episode, we've got big names that will not just motivate these players, but will tell them the way to go. What did they do? What quality do you need to possess to go out of the grassroots and come back and, of course, still be relevant to the grassroots? We are going to tell you a story of how players and their struggles, even in the grassroots, because people think it's all rosy out there.
They do.
But it's not, Aishat.
And one thing about this episode is that we're going to be highlighting their triumphs, their little narratives, their story, possibly what they went through when they left the shores of Nigeria. I'm a bit scared at the same time.
But one thing for certain is that the stories are not so gory as it is in the grassroots. These guys are paid millions. I mean, they are the boxmen. They are making it big.
There's always a
time.
price to pay. What about that? Now, speaking about what happened over the weekend at the 5 Stars Premier League, the kickoff, the opening ceremony, a few of these players came back. How did you feel about that, Thomas?
It was amazing. It was mind-blowing. First of all, I'd like to talk about the opening ceremony. It was beyond me. I mean, the story of the grassroots community can never be complete without the spectators, without the fans. And they came out in their numbers, and the whole place was palpable. The atmosphere was unmatched. And I was very happy when these gladiators, these big names, walked onto the pitch of play, and the fans were hailing them. They were like, welcome home. This is where it all started.
Honestly.
And I'm super happy for these players. Not just very happy. I'm super motivated by how humble they are. I mean, these players have played in Slovakia. Most of them have played for the Super Eagles.
Egypt.
Some people are big names in Egypt. Not just Egypt. Who knows? They might be leaving to Europe in the next few months.
True that.
So they are still very humble to come back and show the young stars the way. I mean, it's a beautiful story. And they say there's never a glory without a story.
There isn't. And one thing for me is, honestly, the opening ceremony. I love the fact that it was a surprise for me. I don't know if you knew about them coming or not. Did you know about having One Touch FC, bringing on one of the international players, or even about other teams? Did you know about that?
Well, Aisha, we may not have had an idea about people who will be coming around, but I'm pretty sure CEO Lumide did, and he was just trying to keep everything under the wraps.
It was
his birthday. It was his birthday, so he had a surprise for us, just as we were trying to surprise him. So he knew of these big names. I mean, I would call him a grassroots juggernaut.
Yeah. Nothing
happens as far as grassroots football is concerned, and Lumide doesn't know about it. So we were the ones surprised. He wasn't.
And I particularly love that surprise. And I cannot wait to see. This episode was also to encourage others to see that, look, your story starts here, but there is more to this. There is more in the forefront. And we are ready to tell the story here today.
And the story is never complete without you giving back. And these players have returned to give back when they are not just done yet. I mean, they're not done yet.
I love
they
that.
They are eager to give back, and it's quite fantastic.
It is. So let's get ready. Are you ready to talk to them?
I mean, if you're ready, I am.
I am. Always ready. All right, let's start with our first player who is back home telling us about his story over in the international space. As promised, we are back, and seated to my right is a player, an international player now. Be careful what you wish for. How are you doing, Manji Gimsay?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. Honestly, it's been a great storyline. The narrative is epic. We are here to hear what exactly it is that happened, as you left the borders of Nigeria. But let's start with where it all started from, at the 5 Stars Premier League. I believe back in 2022, you were with Theo FC. Back in 2021, we have so much to share today. But let's start with what started with your grassroots story at 5 Stars Premier League.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I think few weeks to the tournament starting, Ustaz just approached me and was like, oh, this is the project that they're trying to embark on, and he would love me to be a part of it. And I asked him, oh, what is it about? Because I never knew about 5 Stars, and 5 Stars had been there for a long time, but I had no idea about it because I've not really been in the country. Then I started hearing about 5 Stars, and then, I told him, oh, of course it's football. I'll be interested in it. And then I now decided to play for Theo FC, and that was how we started.
So what was your experience like in 2022? Because you were back in another year again. So it must have been something that went really well during your time in 2022 with UFC.
Yeah, it was amazing, you know, because I already knew, like I told you, I knew about Five Stars, but I had not really played so much, you know, because I wasn't residing here. But when I started residing here, then I got to play it, and I saw that, yeah, it's a nice tournament, and it's demanding. You know, I knew that it was already very physical, very demanding, and yeah. So there's really, when you play it the first time, I think the second time you brace yourself because it's gonna be like harder because people are like wiser and more, you know, tactical. You know, so yeah.
So let's take it a bit forward now, because after 2022 with TOFC, I guess the big deal came through, you know?
Yeah.
And here you are at the grassroots level, and now you're going out of Nigeria. What was that feeling like for you? And just tell us how it all happened, because, I mean, you've been working on the ground for some time, and then boom, it came in. Just share with us your experience during the time of your waiting and how it happened.
Oh, the time of the waiting was a lot of mixed emotions, you know, because this is what you've been dreaming for. And man, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, waiting period is very, very hard.
And scary.
Challenging, yeah. Scary, hard, challenging, because it takes a toll on you psychologically, takes a toll on you emotionally. You have a lot of pressure that you're going through that you don't really talk about. You know, you have so much thoughts like, could this deal could it go through? Could it fall apart? You know, if it falls apart, where are you going to start from? You know, and you're trying to keep it very, very low key because you don't want to. There's this sort of like weird myth whereby if you talk about it too much
in Nigeria, though,
yeah,
I mean,
if you talk about it, it's like the next thing, something is bad is going to happen, and you're not like going to go again. You know, so and then it builds character development. You know, because patience is a very, very difficult thing. I tell you. Patience is so hard to practice, you know.
I'm feeling a bit of chills. I know I'm still learning how to deal with patience. So when I hear that, it reminds me of like even my reality. So now, can you just share with us, how long did you keep this secret? You know, is it from your teammates? How was it how did you start sharing the big news to people?
Well, honestly, I think you just share it with a very, very close circle of yours. Like, you know, you definitely know the people who are there for you in the journey, you know, and those are the people that you can consider the ones worth sharing the information with, you know. Like your support system, like we say. So if you just share it with your support system, and then the other ones, I mean, in as much as they'll be pissed off when they hear that, oh, you've gone and you never told them, but then you would find a way to explain to them and let them know that, oh, this was very impromptu, or I had no idea it was gonna be this soon, you know, and you guys are boys, you're gonna like resolve it very easily, you know, and you just move on with life, honestly.
And the great part about it is that what is happening to you is great things. It's great news. So that at the end of the day, people that love to see you grow and
they will not think so much about the fact that he traveled and he did not tell me. They will just celebrate with you and put all of that aside, you know.
Yeah, I do understand that. So now taking us to your new team in the international shores, where you played for FK Blansko in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
What's the weather like over there? You know, how did you... Let me start with the first question, which is basically, what was your first reaction getting to that team, FK Blansko? What went through your mind?
What went through my mind was because before you make it and before you establish yourself, you go through so much setbacks, so much disappointments. So when you get to the place where you have made it and things are going good for you, there's this sort of mentality or that haunts you, like you don't want what happened in the past to happen in the previous clubs. You don't want what happened to you in the previous clubs where you experienced disappointments and failures. You don't want what happened there to you to happen again. And then you try to like talk to yourself to let that thought go. And as you're letting go of that thought, it's like you're talking to yourself again, like, okay, boy, you have to pick up yourself. You know, new club, new adventure, new motivation. You just have to pick up yourself and do away with all those thoughts, honestly, because they have a way of like holding you back from performing on the pitch, you know?
I never would have thought about that, honestly, because now what comes to my mind when I hear a player has left Nigeria is like, okay, he has more money now, he has the right to like buy cars, he's flying in planes, designers, you know, that is what is the minds of, you know, we that are even in the grassroots. So is that what it's like when you get to the international player? Or what was it like for you now? I want to get your experience from your coach, your team players.
Yeah, for me, first of all, I wasn't really friendly to my teammates.
Oh my God,
I wasn't very close. Just because I was there on business, you know, because like I told you, I experienced so much disappointment and setbacks. It's like, yeah, I'm just here to work and
Play ball.
play ball. You know, I don't have time. It was when my coach saw I was so closed off, then he called me and like, because he doesn't speak English.
Oh my God! So
Yeah.
how did you do it? Do you
So,
speak
like,
another language now?
No, the captain had to. The captain spoke English. So every time, even throughout the season, when we're having like in the changing room, the coach doesn't talk to me. When he says something, somebody translates for
Oh my
for him to
goodness.
me.
That's
Yeah.
hard. It must be really
So he
difficult.
noticed I was very closed off, and he called the captain to talk to me personally, like, you have to ease yourself up, feel free with your teammates. And I wasn't trying to hear any of that, you know, like, I'm just here to play football, my guy, because you don't know what I've gone through. And I just really want to, you know, be up and running to break into the team and, you know, enjoy myself.
So in your opinion, Manji, you know, when you spoke about discipline, building character, if you didn't have those things, how would you have made it in your club? Do you feel like that's something that really stood you out during your time?
Yeah, honestly, like, I think discipline, character, these things, they stand you out, you know. No matter what anybody says, you need to be very, very disciplined. You know, you need to do certain things that other people are not willing to do to get the results that other people do not have, you know. So many times, even the role models that we look up to today, the reason why they are where they are, one of the many reasons is because they've really been disciplined, you know, and they've dedicated their blood, sweat, and energy to their craft, and that's why they have the results that they have today.
I agree with you 100%. But you know what's standing out to me right now, Manji, is the fact that with ballers, like, doesn't get any easier. From the grassroots level, it's really hard. When you go into international, it's even much harder. Hearing from your story. So in 2021, when you're with UFC, we have to talk about what happened. You know, being a grassroots player, how did you react to the challenges you faced, even during Five Stars Premier League in 2021?
How would you react to it? Is I think you just find a coping mechanism. Honestly, in those low moments, you find a way to cope in the midst of it. Because I remember staying with my cousin, and in as much as I was smiling and mingling with people, deep down in my head, I was battling a lot of like thoughts about when am I going to travel, you know, am I going to make it, is this dream still possible, you know. You just find coping mechanism, you know. You have like I said, a support system, people you can always confide in, you know that when you confide in them, they'll obviously, you know, look out for you and help you get the right mentality, right mindset. And it's quite challenging, but you, along the line, you always find a coping mechanism. Even the pro footballers that we look up to today, in as much as they have beautiful lives today, they obviously still have struggles and challenges that they go through, and they have coping mechanisms, you know. So
I like that you mentioned a coping mechanism. So can you tell us one that you've been able to derive or even associate with during your struggles, or even now, you know?
Yeah, my own coping mechanism, I do talk to my support system. I do confide in them. I know there's this wrong thought that as a man you have to be strong and all of that, but I think it's, you know, it's wrong. As a man, you can still talk.
Even as a rich man, you can't talk at all.
You can still talk, you know. You can still confide in people who you know they've been in the journey with you. And yeah, I'm a firm believer in Christ, so I pray. You know, I just read my Bible, and you know, I just hold on to what my own, like what the Word of God says for me. You know, and I spend some time. I also talk to like a therapist.
I thought I didn't know you were gonna say therapist. When I heard that, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I talked to a therapist. Like, it was so, like, I got to a point where I was messed up in the head. Like, the setbacks the disappointments were so much, I couldn't perform on the field. Like, I was playing so well in the trainings, but when it comes to the match, it's like I forgot my legs at home.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so when I went back home, I had to like seek a therapist, and I had to like, you know, tell her, yo, this is what I can't seem to play on the pitch, you know. I'm doing everything right in training, but I'm not executing it on the game. And most times, my teammates were depending on me. And imagine you look forward to the game and you don't deliver. It's like you go home sulking up, like you're so sad because you looked forward to that day, and only for you to play below expectations. And I'm like, nah, something is wrong. I have to look
That's
into
a painful
that.
journey, and I'm glad now that we are here to speak about it as the past, you know.
Yeah.
And let's just try to make things more exciting. I don't want you to be here gloomy, but it's not easy, you know.
Yeah.
I want us to talk about now some positive experience you've had in the grassroots community back in 2021 with the OFC, with your friends, to share with us a really positive and great moment you had with your players and your teammates.
Yeah, I think the best moment I had with UFC was when the way we played. We had an amazing team. I think everyone thought we were gonna win. We were unstoppable. And finishing with the highest assist. I think it was a nice achievement and accomplishment for me. You know, that wasn't even my aim. I was just trying to play football and enjoy myself. You know. And I just found myself getting a lot of assists, and we went all the way to the finals, and it was an amazing.
It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, I think was it the quarterfinals or the semifinals? We were about to be eliminated with
and then you guys had a crazy turnaround.
Yeah,
it was epic. I do agree.
With 1 minute to go or something. I was so scared. We were all thinking no, we can't go out at this point. Then I think I got the ball. Then I turned and I assisted my midfielder, and then he scored. And I was like, so we entered extra time. And when we entered extra time, we knew these guys are gone.
Shout out to the OFC for that amazing team.
I know.
All right, now, so, you know, the grassroots community is improving every day, right? You can see progression. How important is that for you, coming back home now and seeing that there's progress in this? How do you feel about that?
It's beautiful, honestly. I was just thinking to myself yesterday when I was told I was going to do an interview. I was just like, it's a privilege to come back and play for Five Stars. You know, just because you have made it internationally doesn't mean you're bigger than Five Stars. Remember, this was where you once started playing, you know, and it's beautiful to see that Five Stars has grown. You guys are doing big things right now, you know, creating more and more awareness, more and more, people know about Five Stars a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's a very beautiful initiative that you guys have over here, you know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And one thing is for sure, you are back this season. And how did you plan it? How did Bodgeman FC, your current team right now in the Five Stars Premier League, how did they get a hand on Manji? How did they get you to come to their team? What did they tell you?
Yeah, I think it was actually my manager, you know. It was I spoke to him, and he knew I was coming back to Nigeria. Shout out to my manager, by the way, Abdullahi. He knew that I was coming back to Nigeria, and I told him, he told me about Five Stars, how Five Stars is about to start playing, and I was like, okay, I'll be happy to play because, it's football, you know. You're not bigger than Five Stars, in all honesty, you know. There's no such thing as, because I've made it big, I'm too big to play Five Stars. No. I think that's a very wrong mindset to have, you know. So, yeah, I was like, he told me he's going to talk to the team. And when he spoke to them, they said, they were delighted to have me join them. And,
beautiful.
You know, I just joined them because Tribe also wanted me to play for them.
Oh, you see? Okay.
You know, and I had to explain to him and tell him, Bodgeman already approached me, you know, and I think I would like to honor their request.
Which is beautiful. We're so happy to have you back, Manji.
Yeah.
And one thing is for sure that people are looking up to you. We are looking up to you. We're so happy seeing you back in our league. And most importantly, you know, I feel that you are a sign of hope and encouragement always. Anytime you step on that pitch, people want to know that, wow, this guy is back. So that brings me to my next question about, you know, what kind of moments are you expecting with the league this season? Because you've not been around for some time now, things have changed, things have improved. So what kind of moments are you expecting in this 2025 season? The Big Seven, as you know.
Honestly, I'm expecting to see moments like the ones we had in when I played.
Okay.
You know, I think the first one I played in was very competitive. You know, I told you we're on the brink of being eliminated, 1 minute to go, and my teammate pulled up a stunner. You know. We're looking to see moments like that.
And there will be, I'm sure.
And we're looking to see moments like the finals. I think the finals was really tough. You know, how the team we played against came and changed everything the second half. Because it was tight first half, I clearly remember. And then second half, they just made some substitutions and, they just went. We never saw their backs again. Never. And, you know, they're really tight games. And I think those are the moments we're trying to look for, you know, even better ones, ones.
Yes, indeed.
Honestly.
And I believe it will be better. You know, this is the Big Seven. A lot of things are happening differently this season from our partners, our sponsors. We are really excited to see the growth in the grassroots.
Yeah.
So now I want to completely ask you this question. When it comes to qualities of being a young player, do you feel the most important thing is talent? Now that you've gone outside of the country, you've seen different types of players, both professional, What do you think is most important? Is it still talent, or there are other attributes
Far
right
from
now?
it, man. Like, you can have the talent, yeah, but there are so many other things, like you need to be very, very technical, and I think that's where we kind of struggle with in Africa, technicality, and we have the zeal in Africa. Nigerians have zeal, Africans have zeal, they have determination, they have mind, to play football. But those white people are far ahead of us
Wow.
in terms of technicality.
I've heard that a lot, but
These
now
guys are
hearing you
good.
saying that means that
They're
okay.
good for how they pass the ball, how they understand the game. Now yours as an African, are you able to understand the game very quickly? Are you able to adapt to their system very, very quickly? Because you can be good, but if you can't adapt to their system so quickly, like, you're gonna be benched, and it's gonna take a toll on you. Like me, one of the things that helped me was I was able to adapt to the coach's way of play,
Even without understanding their
even without
language.
understanding.
Bro,
And then
that's crazy.
then he came to realize he came to understand how I played. Then he kind of like adjusted his system to fit my style of play. So you have to be that valuable that the coach can change his system to fit your game. So yeah, we have a lot of work to do, technical wise. But I see these days lots of young academies are constantly training the kids, and they're doing the good things. I think that's really nice to see. One of the disadvantages that a lot of we footballers right now are facing is we never really started these things at a very young age. You
So
started,
that age thing really does matter.
it does count,
young
like,
boys,
you see
6.
you see parents putting their kids in academies at age 7, 6. The hashtag it Project Mbappe. In as much as it's funny, just give that child time, and the parents mean what they're doing. Honestly, you see the child who sign up for like Arsenal or Man U at the age of 16 and 15, and then you're already disadvantaged because you never had that support to take you to an academy at the young age. So yeah.
I don't want to let you go, Manji, but our time. So just share pieces of advice or tips for grassroots players that are looking up for inspiration. We have to get. We said so much already, but I want you to just give us something that many people may not really keep in the back of their mind.
Yeah. Brace yourself rather for storms, challenges, and disappointments.
Oof.
I'm not trying to bring down your spirits, but I promise you, yeah, the disappointments will be very, very much. You would wait. It would take a toll on you. It would test your character for a very long time. And you were saying you don't want to talk about the downsides to make me feel some type of way, but like, it's really important to talk about it so people know what they are going to go and face over there. I promise you, like, it's tough. Psychologically, it will take a toll on you. So you have to really build up yourself in the sense that you have to have a very resilient mindset. Obviously, the most important, you have to put God first. You have to ask God to help you, because honestly, outside of the help of God, like, all your plans will be futile. Very, very futile.
He's talking about grace right there.
You will just
work
and work and work, and you will not catch anything. You will not make it. And then, the normal, you have to work hard. You have to stay disciplined, because so many people are good, but they don't have discipline, character poor, and just remember that the race is not to the swift. Just because people ahead of you have made it doesn't mean your time is never gonna come. Your time is gonna come. Stay patient, believe in yourself, stay true to what you're doing. It would feel like the journey is long and gloomy, but eventually there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. That's a fine place to leave that, Manji. Thank you for joining us today.